I never thought freedom would taste like gravel and exhaust fumes. But there I was, sprawled on the shoulder of I-95, my husband's taillights shrinking like a coward's apology into the Georgia night. He'd shoved me out at 60 miles an hour, door flung open, my body tumbling like yesterday's trash, because I dared to whisper the truth about our perfect life. And the kicker? I wasn't even me anymore. Not really. The bitch in the passenger seat, the one he'd chosen over his vows, was wearing my face like a stolen mask, her laughter echoing as they sped away. But oh, honey, revenge isn't served cold. It's engineered, pixel by pixel, until the world you built crumbles from the inside. That night, as semis roared past and lightning cracked the sky like God's own indictment, I clawed my way to a truck stop payphone with bloody fingertips, dialing the one number I knew by heart, my own damn voicemail, left behind in the life they'd tried to erase me from. Victoria, my recorded voice purred, smooth as bourbon on rocks. If you're hearing this, they've done it. The swap. Fight dirty. You always were the smart one. Smart? Hell. I'd been the architect of our empire. The Shadow Queen propping up his Senate run while he golfed with lobbyists. But betrayal like this? It wasn't just a knife in the back, it was a full-body hijacking. Courtesy of black market neurotech that made Frankenstein look like a kid's science fair. By dawn, I'd hitched to Atlanta, begging a waitress for a burner phone and a stale Danish. My reflection in the diner's grimy window as strangers, sharp cheekbones that weren't mine. Eyes too wide and innocent for the venom boiling in my veins. Her name was Lena, some wide-eyed intern I'd pitted once. Hired her out of pity after her daddy's Ponzi scheme tanked. I'd covered for her, buried the evidence of her embezzlement from our family fund, taken the IRS heat when the auditors came knocking. And this was her thank you? Stealing my skin, my memories, my everything, with Ethan's help. My husband. The golden boy of Georgia politics. All drawl and false piety. Who'd greenlit the experimental swap to save his image after Lena's screw-up nearly derailed his campaign. I hunkered down in a Fleabag motel off Peachtree Street, the kind where the walls thrum with neighbors' regrets and the AC drips like slow torture. First things first, intel. I hacked the motel's ancient Wi-Fi with a skill I'd picked up from binge-watching true crime docs during Ethan's late-night fundraisers. Their socials were a minefield of lies. Lena in my body posting selfies from our Buckhead mansion, captioned grateful for second chances, bless Southern strong, while Ethan beamed beside her at a church picnic, his arms slung possessively around his wife. The comments? A flood of heart emojis from his evangelical base, blind to the rot. But I saw it, the flicker in her eyes. The way she tugged at my old pearl necklace like it choked her. She was unraveling already. Good. My plan crystallized over lukewarm coffee. Infiltrate. Expose.
Destroy.
Not with guns or screams. That's for amateurs.
No.
I'd use the American way. Information as ammunition. Lawsuits as landmines. And public opinion as the guillotine. Step 1. Contact my lawyer.
Harlan.
The grizzled ex-Marine who'd handled our prenup like a grenade. I texted from the burner. It's V. Need extraction. Buckhead's safe house. Code. Magnolia. He replied in minutes. On it.
But V.
The body's not yours anymore. Legally? Screw legally. In this country, justice was for sale to the highest bidder, and I'd been playing that game longer than Ethan. Harlan scooped me up in his F-150 at midnight, the truck's cab reeking of cigarillos and unspoken loyalty. Jesus. Vic. You look like a drowned prom queen, he grunted, tossing me a hoodie that swallowed my borrowed frame. Lena was 5'4" to my 5'8". Every step felt like wading through someone else's inadequacy. As we barreled toward the safe house, a nondescript condo in Midtown, I spilled it all. The underground clinic in Miami. The neural transference pitch Ethan had bought hook,
line,
and sinker. It was supposed to be temporary. A way to let Lena borrow my persona for a donor gala while I recovered from a breakdown. But they double-crossed me, locking me out mid-procedure. Her essence flooding my synapses like bad code. You want blood or bankruptcy? Harlan asked. Eyes on the road. Veins bulging like rivers on a map. I laughed. A hollow bark that didn't belong in this throat. Both. Start with the clinic, freeze their assets. Then leak the donor lists to the AJC. Ethan's skeletons? They'll rattle loud enough to wake the dead. By 3 a.m., we were in the safe house. A sterile box with blackout curtains and a wall of monitors Harlan jury-rigged from his PI days. I watched live feeds, Lena fumbling my morning routine, spilling coffee on my antique rug, while Ethan barked orders at staffers. She was cracking paranoid glances at mirrors, whispering to herself about ghosts in the machine. Day 2. I went hunting. Disguised in a thrift store pantsuit and a red wig that itched like guilt, I tailed them to a campaign stop in Savannah. The air was thick with magnolia and hypocrisy. Supporters waving signs that read, Ethan Hale, family first. I slipped into the crowd, close enough to smell Lena's knockoff Chanel, my Chanel, wafting off her skin. When she took the mic, trying to channel my poise, her voice cracked on the line about standing by your man through trials. Trials? I'd borne his bastards, financial, emotional, while he chased skirts in D.C. I edged closer, phone recording, and when she locked eyes with me across the sea of faces, her pupils dilated like a cornered animal. Who? She mouthed, but I was gone, melting into the humidity. Back in Atlanta, Harlan had dirt, emails from the clinic, Ethan's wire transfers to offshore accounts. The swap wasn't just betrayal, it was cover for embezzlement. Lena's daddy's scheme? It had bled into Ethan's campaign coffers. Millions laundered through fake charities. I'd discovered it months ago. Confronted him in our kitchen over Merlot and tears. Fix it, he'd hissed. Or we're done. Instead, he'd fix me out of existence.
But now?
I drafted the anonymous tip to the FBI, laced with just enough truth to ignite the fuse without burning my fingers. Yet as I hit send, doubt gnawed. Was this justice? Or just the mirror of his cruelty? Nights blurred into a fever dream of black coffee and burner calls. I reached out to old allies, my sorority sister in media, a hacker buddy from Emory days, piecing a web that would ensnare them. Lena started slipping, a botched interview where she called Ethan by her ex's name. A viral clip of her tripping over policy points I'd memorized like scripture. The press smelled weakness, dubbing her the reluctant first lady. Ethan doubled down, scheduling a family retreat to our Tybee Island beach house, the one I'd bought with my inheritance before he gambled it away. That's when I decided to crash the party. Controversial? Hell yes. Risky? Like dancing on a fault line. But freedom's a drug, and I was hooked. Harlan protested. Vic, that's suicide, but I waved him off. Not if I bring the poison. I chartered a chopper under a fake name, landing on the dunes at dusk, the Atlantic roaring like applause. They were on the deck, silhouetted against the sunset, Ethan in linen slacks, Lena in my sundress, toasting with stolen champagne. I stepped from the shadows. No gun. Just a tablet glowing with evidence, screenshots, recordings, the works. Victoria? Lena gasped, my face twisting in horror on her. Ethan's drink shattered on the boards. What the fuck? I smiled, slow and savage. Miss me, darling? Or should I say, Lena? Nice try with the swap. But some skins don't fit. Chaos erupted, screams. Ethan lunging for the tablet, but I was faster. Years of yoga and suppressed rage fueling me. I backed them toward the rail. Waves crashing below, like hungry jaws. You framed me for her crimes, I spat, voice steady as steel. Took the fall for your dirty money. And this is my reward? Kicked to the curb like roadkill. He lunged again. But Lena, clever little thief, grabbed a deck chair. Swinging wild. It clipped my shoulder, pain blooming hot. But I countered with a shove that sent her sprawling. Ethan froze. Calculating. Always the politician. We can fix this. Vic. Joint statement. Therapy. Therapy? I laughed. The sound foreign in this body. Fix? Like you fixed me into oblivion. I hit play on the tablet, his voice. Tinny and damning. Do the transfer. She's collateral. The color drained from his face. Salt in the wound. But revenge isn't tidy. As sirens wailed, Harlan's insurance policy, I made my choice. The controversial one. I could end it there. Push them over. Claim self-defense in a body that wasn't mine. The headlines would scream, tragic love triangle, and I'd walk away a ghost. Instead, I hesitated, tablet slipping from my grip into the surf. Live with it, I whispered, turning as feds swarmed the deck. Let the courts chew them up, slower. Sure torture. They arrested them at dawn. Lena sobbing in my voice. Ethan stone-faced for the cameras. I vanished into the marsh. Harlan's boat waiting like a getaway car. Months later, from a cabin in the Smokies, I watched the trial unfold on CNN. Embezzlement, fraud, experimental assault. Ethan took a plea, disbarred and broke. Lena? She cracked wide open, spilling about the daddy's debts, the clinic's horrors. The twist hit like a gut punch. Turns out, I'd known more than I let on. That discovery of the scheme, I'd orchestrated half of it, skimming just enough to fund my escape fund, a secret nest egg for the day he'd turn. The feds called it complicity. I called it survival. Was it happily ever after? Hell no. This body, Lena's, aged wrong. Memories bleeding like ink in water. But freedom? It's mine now. Raw and real. And if Ethan ever wonders what I did with it, tell him this. I burned it all down, then danced in the ashes. Your move, Senator. The Smokies weren't kind to fugitives, but they suited a woman rebuilding from stolen bones. Perched on a ridge overlooking misty valleys that could have been ripped from a Coors ad, my cabin was a fortress of pine and paranoia, solar panels for off-grid life. A satellite dish Harlan smuggled in for the feeds that kept me tethered to the circus back home. I'd traded stilettos for hiking boots, my once manicured hands now calloused from chopping wood and hot wiring junkers for supply runs. Lena's frame was wiry, built for evasion, not elegance. Every mirror mocked me with her pert nose and freckles that dotted like accusations. But damn if it didn't make me sharper, hungrier. Harlan visited monthly, his truck rumbling up the gravel like a heartbeat. Trial's a shit show, Vic, he'd say, unloading crates of spam and burner sims. Ethan's playing the victim card, radical wife scorned, they call it. Lena's lawyered up with a shark from Atlanta, claiming coercion. Coercion? That girl had clawed her way into our bed like a cat in heat, batting lashes at fundraisers while I balanced the books. I'd ignored the signs, late nights, whispered calls, because that's what you do in marriages like ours. Polish the silver and pretend it's gold. My days settled into ritual. Dawn patrols with a .38 Harlan insisted on. Afternoons scouring dark web forums for neural reversal tech. The swap wasn't permanent. Not fully, synapses frayed at the edges. Dreams where I'd wake in my own skin only to jolt into hers. But reversal? A pipe dream peddled by quacks in Shenzhen basements. Instead, I hone my edge, drafting manifestos I never sent, mapping Ethan's downfall like a general plotting Gettysburg. The controversial bit? I started small leaks, not to the press, but to his enemies. A whisper to a rival congressman about offshore accounts, an anonymous post on Politico forums linking him to the clinic's shady funders. Each one landed like a pebble in a pond, ripples building to a tsunami. One crisp October morning, as leaves bled red like old wounds, a drone buzzed my perimeter. FBI? Probably. Sniffing for loose ends. I shot it down with a slingshot Harlan rigged, the crash echoing like thunder. That night, sleep evaded me, chased by memories not mine. Lena's childhood in trailer parks. Her daddy's fists, the desperation that drove her to my door. Pity flickered, then died. She'd chosen this, betrayal over gratitude. But as I stared at the ceiling beams, doubt crept in. Had I pushed her there? Covering her theft wasn't mercy. It was control. Keeping her leashed as my pet project. American dream. Twisted. Climbed the ladder. Then saw off the rungs below. Harlan brought news next visit. A subpoena. For you, Vic. They want testimony on the swap. My gut twisted. Testify? In Lena's body. Under oath. Spilling guts to a jury that'd see a stranger in knockoffs. It'd be suicide. Expose the complicity. The skim I'd tucked away in Cayman trusts. Decline, I said, voice flat. He shook his head.
Can't.
Federal case now. Clinic's owner flipped, singing about senators and stem cell slush funds. Ethan's empire was crumbling, donors fleeing, base fracturing over the witchcraft headlines.
Good.
But the hook in my chest? Lena. Reports said she was catatonic in county lockup, muttering about the other woman inside. I decided then go back. Not for justice, but closure. Controversial as hell, walking into the lion's den wearing the lamb's wool. Harlan flew me commercial. Birmingham to Atlanta. Under aliases and ball caps. The courthouse loomed like a tombstone. Marble steps slick with December rain. Security scanned me twice. Lena's mug was infamous now, but I was cleared as witness hail. Inside, the air hummed with whispers. Reporters' flashes popping like gunfire. Ethan sat at the defense table, gaunt in a cheap suit, eyes locking on me with a mix of hate and hunger. Vic, he mouthed, but I turned away, taking the stand like a queen to her execution. The prosecutor, a bulldog named Reyes with a Bronx accent that cut through the drawl, led me through it, the betrayal, the shove on I-95, the safe house scramble. Jurors leaned in, faces a mix of Southern skepticism and morbid thrill, true crime junkies in their Sunday best. Then the cross-exam, Ethan's lawyer, slick as oil, painting me as the villain. MS. Hail, or should I say, NS. Whoever you are, didn't you facilitate the very fraud you decry? Bank records show transfers from your accounts.
The courtroom gasped.
My skim.
Exposed.
I met his gaze. Steady. Survival. Counselor. In a marriage where love's just leverage. Chaos post-testimony. Bailiffs herding me to a green room. Harlan waiting with bail money I'd never use. But outside, paparazzi swarmed. Mics thrusting like spears. Victoria. Was it worth it? The betrayal? I paused. Rain streaking my face, Lena's face, like tears I wouldn't shed. Worth? Ask him what freedom costs when you steal someone's soul. The clip went viral. Memes dubbing me Soul Swap Avenger. Overnight, offers flooded. Podcasts, book deals, a Netflix true crime pitch. Tempting, but I ghosted them all. Holing up in a midtown Airbnb, plotting the next move. That's when the twist whispered. A letter slipped under the door. Ethan's handwriting shaky as a drunk's.
Vic.
It's not what you think. Meet me. The real truth. Real truth? My pulse thrummed like a bass line in a dive bar. Harlan begged off. Trap, but curiosity's a bitch. And I'd always been its favorite. Midnight rendezvous at our old spot, Piedmont Park. Under the moonlit canopy, where he'd proposed with a ring that felt like handcuffs. He waited on the bench. Alone. Shadows carving hollows in his cheeks. You look good.
Vic.
Different.
But. You.
I sat. .38 in my purse like a promise. Talk. He spilled. The swap wasn't his idea. Lena's doing. Egged on by her daddy. A ghost from the Ponzi days. Out on parole. Pulling strings from a Florida pen. He blackmailed me. Said you'd ruin us if you knew about the skim. You were skimming too?
Vic.
We were in it together.
Lie?
Truth? My mind reeled. Synapses sparking with half-memories. Lena's. Of plotting with Pops. Hating the perfect life she craved. The reversal hit hard. I wasn't the victim. We were all thieves in the night. Bodies and bankrolls swapped in a game none of us could win. I left him there. Rain soaking us both. His pleas fading like bad radio. Back in the Airbnb, I torched the letter. But the doubt lingered. Was revenge just another illusion? As feds closed in my complicity subpoena next, I packed for the border. Harlan's contacts in Mexico waiting. Freedom. Part 2, not ashes, but exile. And if Ethan followed?
Well,
some swaps are forever. Mexico wasn't the piñata paradise of margaritas and machismo. It was dust-choked border towns where dreams died in adobe shacks. And gringos like me stuck out like a nun at a frat party. I crossed at Nogales under Harlan's forged papers. Victoria Ramirez now. A nod to the abuela I'd never met, but whose grit I'd borrowed. The safe house was a stucco bunker in Hermosillo. Shared with other expats, a Wall Street wolf-dodging SEC hounds. A cartel widow with eyes like chipped obsidian. We traded stories over tepary beans and tequila, a rogues gallery where betrayal was currency and trust a fool's errand. Nights were the worst, insomnia's grip tightening as Lena's memories bled freer, her first theft. Sticky fingers in a high school till, the thrill of my world. Marble counters and power lunches. Twisted into resentment. I'd been the chain around her neck. Not the savior.
And Ethan?
Our marriage a Ponzi of its own, built on my daddy's oil money and his silver tongue. The skim? Mutual. A slush fund for when the facade cracked. But the swap, that was her apex of spite. Daddy's whispers turning envy to action. I woke sweating. Convinced her ghost haunted the skin. urging me to confess, to end it. Harlan wired funds monthly, but comms were spotty, encrypted apps flickering like candle flames. Trials wrapping, he messaged one dawn, as roosters crowed judgment. Ethan's pleading out 10 years. Minimum. Lena's testifying against him, painting herself the dupe. Dupe? The irony burned hotter than habanero salsa.
She,
Who'd worn my face to galas, now shedding it like a snake's skin for leniency. I pictured her in court, my cheekbones flushed with feigned innocence, voice quavering about manipulation. The press ate it up, intern's nightmare, swapped into scandal. My controversial pivot came via contact, a neurodoc in Guadalajara. Ex-clinic. Peddling reversal hacks for Bitcoin. Risky as roulette. But I drove the 8 hours in a borrowed El Camino. Dust devils dancing like demons on the highway. The clinic was a strip mall sham. Neon cross flickering over a door marked Terapias Holisticas. Inside. Dr. Ruiz, paunchy, with a mustache like a broom bristle, eyed me like contraband.
Señora.
This isn't undo button. Synapse a scar. You get maybe 60% back, your mind in her shell, or hers in yours. But body? Stuck. 60%? Better than zero. We did it in a back room that smelled of sage and solder. Electrodes buzzing like angry bees as he zapped the barriers. Pain lanced, fire in my veins. Memories colliding like freight trains, my wedding waltz merging with Lena's prom disaster. Ethan's touch alien on both skins. I blacked out mid-scream, waking to Ruiz's slap and a mirror that showed.
Me?
No, eyes sharper.
Joe seat film.
But freckles fading like lies under truth serum. Partial, he grunted. Enough to fight. Empowered. I went rogue. Hacked Ethan's prison comms via a dark web proxy. Listening to his calls. Pleas to lawyers. Curses at guards. A whispered Vic. If you're out there. Chilling. He missed me. Or the version he'd molded. I leaked snippets to inmate gossip mills, turning his cell block into a snake pit. Controversial? Inmates shanking snitches was old news. But engineering it from afar? That was my gray zone. The line where victim became vigilante. Sleep came easier after. Laced with her nightmares, less insistent. Words spread south. The swapped widow holed up. Plotting. Bounty hunters sniffed, Ethan's last-ditch loyalists, or feds with extradition dreams. One night, tires crunched outside, shadows breaching the perimeter. I grabbed the .38, heart hammering a salsa rhythm, and fired warning shots into the saguaro. They scattered, amateurs, but the message stuck, run farther. Harlan arranged a hop to Belize. But en route, in a cantina off the Yucatan, I met him, Marcus, a journalist with dreads and a laptop scarred from embeds in cartel wars. We bonded over Pacificos and pitch black coffee, him probing my story like a miner for gold. This swap, it's bigger than hail. Clinics tied to big pharma, senators, even CIA black ops. Mind control for the masses. Beta tested on the disposable. Disposable.
Me.
Lena. The word hung, heavy as humidity. He showed docs, Ethan's name on funding memos. Not as Mark, but architect. The twist deepened. The Ponzi wasn't Daddy's alone. Ethan had engineered it. Using Lena as bait. Me as the fall guy. I'd suffered his crime. Yes, but blindly. Loving the monster. I spilled to Marcus. Partial truths laced with reversal haze. He offered alliance. Co-author a expose. Below the lid global. Tempting, redemption in print. My voice amplified. But trust? A luxury I'd pawned long ago. We parted with numbers exchanged. Me slipping north to Belize's Cays. A thatched hut on Caye Caulker where waves lapped like confessions. There, under palm fronds, I wrote, not a book, but emails to allies.
Piecing the web.
Ethan's trial endgame loomed, sentencing in weeks, and I planned my ghost return. The climax brewed on a ferry to the mainland, salt spray stinging like regret. Marcus messaged, clinic files en route. But watch your six. Hales out on appeal.
Out.
My blood iced. He'd lawyered a loophole. The swap deemed experimental duress. Free. While I rotted in exile. Rage crested. Controversial crest. I rerouted to Atlanta. Stowaway on a cargo plane. Landing in the pre-dawn fog of Hartsfield-Jackson. Harlan met me curbside. Face thunder.
Vic.
You're playing with napalm. We hit the sentencing hearing incognito, me in the back row, veiled like a Southern Gothic specter. Ethan took the stand, contrite in a tie that screamed innocence, spinning yarns of family healing. Lena testified via video. My face gaunt, voice a whisper. He made me do it. The swap. It broke me.
Lies.
Or half. As the judge recessed, I slipped a note to his table. Midnight. Our spot. Truth or oblivion. The gauntlet thrown. Piedmont Park again. Fog rolling off the Chattahoochee like smoke from a dying fire. He arrived solo. Shadows his only entourage. Vic, he breathed, arms opening like absolution. I stepped back. .38 drawn but low. No hugs. Just answers. He confessed the clinic, his brainchild, neural tech for enhanced empathy in politics, tested on us. Lena, willing pawn. Daddy's cut a bonus.
Me?
The perfect cover. My breakdown scripted. I loved you.
Vic.
Too much to let you fall alone. Love, the word curdled. I raised the gun. Finger itching. Controversial end. Pull trigger. Claim the body that birthed my ruin. But the reversal hummed, Lena's mercy flickering, and I lowered it. Rotting your freedom, I said, turning as sirens wailed anew. Feds. Tipped by Marcus's drop. Ethan lunged. Desperate. But cuffs clicked like karma. As they dragged him, he screamed the truth. She knew. The skim was hers. The courtroom reversal hit headlines next day. My complicity splashed across the AJC. Villain? Victim? Jurors would debate. But I was gone, Belize bound. Reversal fading. A hybrid soul in borrowed flesh. Revenge tasted bittersweet. Like chicory coffee, sated, yet hollow. Belize was a balm of turquoise and torpor. The kind of lazy Caribbean haze where time stretched like hammock rope. But peace? That was a myth for postcards. My Caye's hut became a nerve center, laptop humming with VPNs. Solar charger feeding the beast as I monitored the fallout. Marcus's expose dropped like a depth charge. Neural nightmares. How Washington's elite stole souls for votes. It named names, Ethan's. The clinic CEO. Even a DC. Fixer with CIA ties. Overnight, I was a phantom legend. The swapped woman. Source anonymous. But whispers traced to the islands. Sleep was fractured. Reversal side effects gnawing. Phantom itches where my old scars should have been. Dreams blending boardrooms with beach bonfires. Lena's essence lingered. A faint echo urging surrender. Let it go. Vicky. But I drowned her in black rum and burner calls to Harlan. Feds want you bad, he'd warn. Voice crackling over sat phone. Conspiracy charges stacking. But Ethan singing, full bird. Implicating everyone to shave time.
Good.
Let the rats devour each other. I'd sown the cheese. Controversial days. I started a shadow network. Emailing whistleblowers, clinic nurses, donor dupes, coordinating leaks to Marcus. It felt righteous. A digital underground railroad for the body snatched. But mirrors lied. Was this atonement or empire building? My Skimp's remnants funded it, laundered through Belizean banks. Ironic justice. One contact, a Miami techie named Jax, offered a full reversal, experimental, but 80%. Risk coma.
Though.
Tempting, but I demurred. This hybrid, it sharpened me. Dual perspectives a weapon, Victoria's cunning. Lena's street smarts. Ethan's appeal hearing streamed live from a Fulton County cell. His face haggard on pixelated feed. Lawyering for house arrest. Family man. Reformed. The spin went. But chat rooms buzzed with my myth, supporters calling me witch, detractors heroine. Lena? Released on technicality. The swap irreversible duress. Free. In my skin. Last seen jetting to LA. With a producer sniffing biopic rights. The gall burned. Her. Profiting off my hell. While I scraped by on conch fritters. I decided. Confront. Booked a red-eye via Nassau. Landing LAX in a blonde wig and cargo pants. Harlan's Glock tucked like a talisman. LA. Was a mirage of smog and excess, palm-lined boulevards hiding the grind, where dreams were pitched over kale smoothies. Marcus met me at a Venice beach cafe. Board shorts and laptop. Grinning like a co-conspirator. She's at the Chateau Marmont. Schmoozing for Soul Thief, a true story. We tailed her that night. My heart a drum solo, as we slipped past velvet ropes. There she was, me. Or the ghost of, sipping rose in the garden. Laughing with suits in linen. The sight hit like vertigo, my laugh. Forced, my gestures. Mimicked. She spotted me across the lanterns, wineglass slipping, shattering like our truce. You, she hissed, dismissing the producer with a wave. We retreated to her bungalow, air thick with jasmine and enmity. Door locked. She poured doubles scotch. Neat. My vice. Victoria.
Or.
Whatever you are now. We circled like boxers. Accusations flying. Her theft. My control. The swap's madness. Daddy's shadow. You pitted me, she spat. Tears carving tracks on my stolen cheeks. Kept me small. Your charity case. Truth stung, yes. I dangled the job like a carrot. But for what? To feel superior in our gilded cage? And you? I countered. Stole my life to escape yours. She laughed. Bitter. Escape? This face? It's a prison. Your memories haunt me. Every betrayal. Every doubt. Ethan's worse. You know. He loved the power. Not us. The reversal twist. She confessed the full plot, Ethan's. Not hers. Daddy was the patsy, the clinic. A front for neural espionage. Senators swapping essences to dodge assassins or scandals. I'd been the test mule. My suffering data for the elite. Lena? Complicit. But coerced, Ethan's threats binding her tighter than code. I want it out, she whispered. For both of us. Pity surged. Unbidden, sisters in chains, not foes. But revenge's claw dug deep. I pulled the Glock. Steady. Then end it. Give me back my skin. Her eyes widened, my eyes, terror raw. Controversial precipice. Shoot. Claim the shell. Drag her to reversal? Or mercy? Let the exposé bury them? Sirens wailed distant. Hotel security. Or feds. She lunged. Not for the gun.
But me?
Embrace desperate. Together, she murmured. We burn it down. We didn't shoot. Instead, Dawn found us wiring Jack's coordinates. Flying private to Guadalajara. Her dime. Ironic. The procedure was apocalypse. Machines whirring like judgment. Bodies strapped side by side as Ruiz bridged the gap. Pain was symphony. Agony in stereo. Essences ripping free. I glimpsed her core. Fear-wrapped ambition. A girl clawing for light. Mine? Steel-veined regret. Love twisted to lead. We woke halved. Me in limbo skin. Freckles and cheekbones merged, her in a neutral husk. Clinic provided blank. 80%? Lie 50. Fractured. But free? Closer. Ethan called mid-recovery. Voice from hell. Vic? Lena? The feds have the files. It's over. Over? The climax crashed. Raids on D.C. Senators swapping alibis. The program exposed as wet work for the powerful. We parted in the airport haze, her to anonymity in Vancouver. Me to Belize. Reformed. But the controversial scar, in the merge, I'd absorbed her skim secrets. A deeper fraud tying me to the cartel fringes. Victim no more player. Perhaps. As the plane lifted, L.A. shrinking below, I pondered the debatable end. Justice a mosaic. Shattered and reformed. Was I avenged? Or just another ghost? Back in Belize. The Ks felt alien, waves mocking with their endless churn. Palms whispering judgments I couldn't outrun. The merge had left me mosaic, Victoria's poise cracked by Lena's paranoia. Decisions weighing heavier, like ballast in a sinking ship. Harlan's calls grew terse, feds circling the islands. Extradition treaties ironclad now. Ironclad? In America. Laws bent for the connected.
But me?
A hybrid fugitive. Complicity a noose tightening with each leak Marcus amplified. The exposé ballooned. Pulitzers buzzed. Congressional hearings grilling gray suits on essence ethics. Ethan's name dominated. His plea unraveling as tape surfaced, him greenlighting swaps for rivals. Turning politics into a body bazaar. I hold up. Writing confessions not for court, but catharsis journals and code. Pages filling with the unvarnished, how I'd ignored Ethan's affairs. Not from blindness, but bargain. Power over passion. Our buckhead throne worth the thorns. Lena's bleed added layers. Her envy wasn't theft, but aspiration. A mirror to my own climb from oil patch obscurity. We'd all betrayed, me by enabling, her by erasing, him by engineering. The reversal's gift? Clarity. Brutal as a gut shot. Controversial closure brewed via Jax's ping. Full merge data, yours. But it's damning. You authorized the initial skim.
Vic.
For the campaign? Or escape? Escape. The word echoed. Truth reversing like a bad trip. I'd planted the Ponzi seeds years back. A hedge against Ethan's wandering. Funds siphoned not for revenge, but reinvention, a solo life in Paris or Provence. Free of his shadow. Lena discovered it. Blackmailed into the swap by Daddy. But Ethan? He knew. Twisted it into mutual destruction. Victim? We'd all worn the mask. Feds landed at dawn, black choppers slicing the mist. Agents in khakis swarming my hut like ants on syrup. No shootout. I went quiet. Hands up. Glock surrendered. Extradition flight to Atlanta was surreal, cuffed in coach. Staring at clouds that looked like unraveling code. Harlan waited in holding, face etched with defeat. Please your play.
Vic.
20 months. Maybe less with cooperation. Cooperation? Spill on the senators? Tempting. But it reeked of more swaps, souls bartered for slivers of freedom. The trial was farce, me in orange jumpsuit. Merged skin pale under fluorescence. Testifying to a jury of skeptics. I suffered for their crimes, I said, voice steady. But bore my own too. The twist landed. Exhibits of my emails. Authorizing the fraud's genesis. Gasps rippled. The prosecutor faltered. Defense crowing admission. Ethan watched from the gallery. Free on bond. Eyes gleaming with vindication. Lena, absent, vanished into witness protection. Her silence a final theft. Sentencing day. The judge, a silver-haired hawk with Bible belt bite, leaned in. MS. Hale. Or Ramirez. Or whatever soul you claim. This court's no place for science fiction. But betrayal? That's as American as apple pie. 24 months. Minimum security in Alderson. The camp cupcake for white-collar witches. Controversial mercy? Or punishment deserved? As marshals led me away. Ethan approached. Whisper hot. We could have ruled. Vic. Together. I met his gaze. Merged eyes unblinking. Ruins better solo. Prison was rhythm, khaki monotony. Book club debates on ethical espionage. Therapy circles where I spun half-truths. Letters trickled. Marcus's galleys. Harlan's legalese, but one stood out. Lena's. Postmarked Vancouver. Script shaky. The merge saved me. Or damned us both. Forgive. Forgiveness? A debate for philosophers. I burned it. Ashes to the wind. Parole came early. Good behavior. Exposé fallout pressuring DC. For reform. Out in 18. I emerged to Georgia spring. Dogwoods blooming like false promises. Atlanta's skyline a jagged reminder. Harlan drove. Silence companionable. What's next? Boss. Next? A cabin in the North Georgia hills. Not Smokies, closer. Defiant. I wrote the book myself. Swapped shadows. No ghostwriter. Sales funding a foundation for neural abuse victims. Controversial? Critics called it cash grab. Fans. Manifesto. Debatable legacy. Ethan? Disgraced. Hawking memoirs from a condo in Decatur. Whispers of a second swap, to youth. Laughed off as tabloid trash. Lena surfaced in indie films. Playing haunted ingenues. Her arc the cautionary tale.
Me?
Hybrid still. Scars internal. Freedom hard won. Was it happily ever after? Hell no. By kitsch laced with hope. The American way. Rise. Fall. Remix. Years on. At a Atlanta Lit Fest. I spot him, Ethan.
Ponder.
Peddling signed copies. Our eyes lock. He approaches.
Tentative. Vic.
Coffee. I smile. Merged and mighty. Black. Like our hearts. We talk, not reconciliation, but reckoning. The truth. Fully reversed, no heroes. Just survivors in a game rigged for gods. As I drive away, Radio crooning Springsteen, born to run. I crank it. Windows down. Wind whipping like absolution. Kicked out with nothing? I built an empire from exhaust and spite. And if they ask what I did with freedom, tell them everything. And nothing. The debate's eternal.